Welcome to another week of BOOMBUST Fantasy Football with a little extra cherry on top there, bringing in some fancy cockpit. James joining us today to go over this Redux rookie draft. What's up, James?
Hey, not too much, you guys.
Just another day in the office,
Doing pretty good. We had to have in the guy with half the first rounds worth of picks and to help us go over this though. So
no joke. Also, I guess I should have said hey to you too, Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how's it going, man?
Hey, screw off. Guess I'll just be over here screwing myself. No, doing good.
Cool,
Corey,
cool.
you are struggling over there, buddy.
I know. I opened up my Sleeper app on my computer, and that's a no-go. I'm going to have to close that down. Holy crap.
It's got you laggy.
Man, I should not have turned that on.
And I know it's you because James is moving just fine. So.
Oh, yeah, I see that just fine, too. Man, that's rough.
Got Albert over in the chat. What's up, brother?
Whew. All right, I'm at least close to back now.
You're getting closer.
Man. Jeez, what is going on?
It's like you're
kicked on. Thanks, Sleeper. Thanks for that. All right, I think I'm back.
Wow. Yeah, you're back, but you're blurry. It's like I don't know if you're got like a drop in your broadband quality or what. What was that, James?
That's an improvement.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You look like you're on Cops, or you did. You're better now. But you look like you're on Cops there for a minute. It just blurred out.
My wife has bad eyesight, and I just hide her glasses from her all the time. So this is what I look like. This is why she married me. So
smart.
That's funny.
Kidding. I'm still trying to figure out why she married me. I'm not really sure. What's up, Albert? Welcome in. A good evening, sir. Alrighty, so like we said, we're going to cover this rookie draft that we had a couple weeks ago. It concluded a couple weeks ago, and we're just going to get around to going over it now. And James, you had quite a few picks in this one. You'd collected. Yeah. How many picks did you have in that first round?
I had 5 in that first round.
In the first round?
Yeah, I had 2, 5, 7, 8, and 10.
Jeez, OP. That's crazy.
And then you had 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had 11. Yeah, that was the other thing, too.
So you had 6 of the first 11 picks. Now, that's great and all, but I know leading up to it, trying to clear roster spots because you knew you were about to be in an interesting situation on your roster limits, too. So, man, that's interesting. All right, Kyle, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this draft board, and we can start going through how this draft went down. It's a little hard to see. I don't know if there's a way to really zoom that in much at all, but
you say that every time, and it never really helps that much. It's about as good as it's going to get.
Okay.
Just a quick note, this Team 3, that was our Brew Crew team that got replaced after the draft.
So he ghosted us and didn't show up, so we ended up drafting for him.
Yeah, drafted for him, so
but we drafted legitimately for him. There was no punishment there. His team already was struggling, and we knew we needed someone to come in and take over for him, so we drafted as good as we could for him still, so that someone else coming in and take over the team wouldn't mind taking over the team quite as bad. Someone's going to have to be up to that challenge. We did find the replacement now, but it's beside the point.
We actually replaced him with Swami, official Swami, which some of y'all know from Seven's mock drafts on Safe Space and stuff. So yeah, he's already been working. So he's already been all over free agency. So
no doubt.
All right.
And it finally dropped Henry Ruggs from that team. Man.
Yeah. Dude, it was funny when we were talking about replacing Brew Crew. I must have got like 5 or 6 texts from Jason be like, you need to drop Ruggs. You should drop Ruggs. You need to drop Ruggs. I'm like, dude, it's not hurting anything. Nobody's doing anything with that team. We'll just wait until the next owner gets in there. Jesus.
Sounds like it was really killing him.
He's been there all season. Why all of a sudden do I need to drop him today?
Bro, rough. All right.
Cracking me up.
All right. Pick number 1, Breece Hall. Duh.
Obviously.
Mhm.
So Corey's team is going to be really good going forward. He's got like one of those ultimate dynasty teams, I
Dude,
feel
his
like.
team was already really, really good. A lot of young studs and stuff. He just had really bad schedule luck.
Yeah.
Like, he just played the high scorer every week and just got unlucky.
Yeah.
So the fact that his team was that good and still had the top pick made me want to throw up.
Yeah, it's not fair, honestly. Alrighty, so that was an obvious first pick. Let's go to pick number 2 here by our man James. Kenneth Walker. Tell us about your pick here, James.
Yeah. So a lot of what went into this pick was also because I had 4 other picks to follow in this first round. And to me, there's only 2 absolute no-brainer running backs in this draft, and that's Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Part of me wanted to go wide receiver here and hope that at 5, Walker would still be there. But knowing that I could just secure Walker and then I could have either London, Burks, or Wilson there at the 5, I thought was the better strategy for me. So I secured Walker, got what I thought was easily the second best running back, heading like bar none to the rest of these guys. And then figured I'd wait on whichever receivers left. Had I only maybe had 1 or 2 picks in this first round, I would have gone Drake London there. He's my favorite wide receiver. But it's just with how thin this draft was at running back, and I do like Walker a lot. So, I felt pretty good taking him there at 102.
Yeah, I agree with that as far as only being 2 running backs. I think overall value, I would have preferred London also, but, it does make sense with the picks that you had to go ahead and wait. And unfortunately, London got sniped a pick before you at pick 5 there, so.
Yeah.
Boy, wouldn't that have been something if you still would have ended up with London at 5? That would have been
for real
insane.
I could have sold the rest of my picks for nothing. I would have been over the moon if I got those 2 guys with the first 2 picks. Like nothing else would have mattered.
Yeah, just be like, here, take the rest of my picks. I'm good.
Yeah, just dump
championships forever.
Yeah,
it'd be that South Park meme when he's just sitting back in his chair and there's just like God everywhere. He's just finished.
There was a ghost. It's ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm.
Yeah,
I love that episode. That cracks me up.
I was surprised by this pick. Honestly, I did not see Walker coming off the board here too. I knew. I just thought for sure it was going to be Drake London. So
I did too.
I was surprised by the pick. I mean, the thought process makes sense. For me personally, Burks and London are the obvious number 2 wide receivers, or the top 2 wide receivers there. Wilson, good. I'm just not confident on that landing spot and that team just in general there. So I wasn't a high on him. So I probably would have gone ahead and risked it, would have taken London and risked it for the biscuit there and hope that Walker dropped to me at 5. And if not, then probably have gotten Wilson there and just rolled with 2 top wide receivers in the draft. But, to each their own. Your running back situation on your team isn't really it's hurting a little bit, right? Just a little
it's
bit.
not too bad. Like the reason why I wanted it, because like I have Najee, he's obviously going to start. Dobbins is my current number 2, and just if he needs more time to come back, or if maybe now he's just like, I think he's still gonna be a stud. I love Dobbins, but maybe he's got a few less years on him now. So maybe it's just something. It's just always nice to have running back depth. Like there's just so much more wide receiver depth than there is running back depth. So
100% agree.
To get a young guy that looks as good as Walker felt pretty good. And then obviously I have like Miles Sanders and Chase Edmonds also there, just for extra depth. You just never have enough.
Yep. All righty. Let's see. So we kind of covered these wide receiver. Burks is the one we for team 3. And then London going at 4, and Garrett Wilson coming in at 5.
I was drafted for team 3, and I went with Burks. If it was my pick personally, I would have gone with London. but since it was for another team, I just took the next one. Like,
I think it would have been nice to give them Wilson too.
Per the sleeper order that they had, I just took the top one, which was Burks.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But personally, if it was my pick, I would have gone with London over Burks. But
either way, I think it's a great pick. I mean, I think between those two, you couldn't have gone wrong. Yeah, we should have given him Wilson, but we were trying to play it as fair as possible.
Yeah, as fair as possible.
As realistic and fair as possible.
I wanted to give him a tight end.
And again, I mean, everything was already thrown off with Walker going second overall. So, you know.
A lot of people were wanting me to give him a kicker. I'm just like, come on, guys.
Yeah. People were just mad at him for making us wait 8 hours. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Everyone's ready to get on with it. So, Wilson coming in at number 5 there, was that a hard pick for you, or was that kind of a no-brainer?
It was a mixed bag. For a good while, it was kind of a no-brainer to me. But then knowing that I have so many more picks and I'm going to get wide receivers likely at those picks, part of me almost wanted to go with Jameson Williams, because to me, like, him and Drake London on a pure talent level are the most talented guys, I think, in this draft. But Williams likely won't see much of this year. And I'm not like, I don't know, I could be somewhat competitive. I need a lot to go right for me to try to win, but I almost wanted to take him. But I did like Garrett Wilson, and I'm just kind of curious about the Jets. I really liked Wilson. Just everything about his tape, you just feel good watching it. Like, just a very impressive player, super talented. Yeah, so smooth. I just really like watching him. So I felt good. I don't have many Jets players that I like, so I figured, I'm like, you know what, I'll just take a dart throw here, because I don't know what's going to happen with the Lions. They still need a quarterback in the future, and it's so crowded there. Like, anything could happen there. So I just figured I'd take Wilson.
The Jets are suddenly very crowded as well, but maybe not as crowded as the Lions. And if Zach Wilson kind of gets his crap together the way everybody thinks he should, that could end up really paying off for Wilson. And, you know, with Elijah Moore, like, they can't focus and double team Wilson, and with that just ridiculous running game. So, you know, it seems like a really bad landing spot at first blush, but if a couple of things go right, he could really turn into a stud receiver there. So,
well, and I mean, like, Corey Davis has shown a lot of promise in the Jets in the past, and like, I mean, Elijah Moore looked really good last year too. So I mean, Wilson should only get more confident. That O-line's improved. Everything should just get better for them. And honestly, I like, and I do like both guys. Like, it is a lot tighter than I'm probably letting on. I was actually trying to trade up to get the next pick so I could take JMO as well. Just never came to it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm starting to like the Jets' offensive players more and more.
Yeah, especially Michael Carter.
I don't want to talk about it. I did manage to get him traded in this league, though, so I'm not as upset as I used to be. I traded Justin Jefferson and Carter to Corey 2K, who drafted Breece Hall, so it makes sense. He wanted Carter. And I got AJ Dillon and CeeDee Lamb back, so I felt pretty good about that.
Yep.
That swap out is about the only value I was going to get out of Carter, so I'll absolutely take that.
Yeah, no, that was a good trade. I like that. And you get your Homer boy and Lamb.
Absolutely. I wanted Lamb so bad. I never thought I wanted to trade Justin Jefferson, but I couldn't turn down that Carter for AJ Dillon swap.
I just remember being at work and Kyle texted me like, hey, I'm thinking about taking this trade. Am I crazy? And I was like, you're crazy for not have already accepted it. Like, just do it. Get your boy. You've been trying for him for a year now. Take it.
Well, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is too good to be true, or I'm just a tremendous homer for CeeDee Lamb. Sometimes you just want to make sure.
And I personally see CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson kind of as a wash, personally. So I was like, just do it. I thought it was a good deal for you.
Yeah.
All right. What's next, Kyle? Roll with it.
Jameson Williams went to Derryberry. which we already talked about him quite a bit. He was pretty tight with Wilson there. And then rolling on to bolts, we got Olave, which I felt is the correct choice probably there.
Yeah,
oh wait, no,
so
that was your pick too.
I
that
have
was
that
your
one.
pick too. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
looking at the top. I forgot you had so many Olave and Moore back to back, which are I thought clearly the next two receivers in line there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like the first 7 players, whatever order you put them in, those are the first 7 players it should be in almost every draft.
I
And
agree.
Olave for me is the bottom of this kind of group for me. So like he's right where he's supposed to. I do really like his landing spot. That's helped him a lot. I really think he's gonna like even before like more before Landry going there, but like just being opposite of Mike Thomas, like I mean, we know that Winston he can sling it if he wants to without a care. And Olave is a good player. My only concern with Olave, and that's why he's the bottom of this tier, is I think he's almost a little soft. Like he can get bumped in his routes a little bit. He's not very physical. Like he can make some flashy catches. Really good route runner, but it's like I just think he can be bullied a lot. And so that's why he's the bottom of these guys, because he's the guy that I think you give him a good cornerback matchup, he could disappear. But being the number 2 to Michael Thomas, he's not likely going to get that matchup. So that helps him a lot. True. I think he could do really well. So I honestly, I love his landing spot. But he is my 7th best player in this draft. So he was, this is a super easy pick.
And this is before they brought on Jarvis Landry. That doesn't change anything for you really either, right?
Not too much. Cause like, I don't know, like it's pretty cool to see like Landry going back to New Orleans down there. Like especially like just to go home. It's kind of neat. But like it's kind of tough. It's all going to depend on how Michael Thomas looks. Like everything says he's going to be on track to play, but he's getting older. I mean, Olave will be there a while. I expect if Winston's not there a while, someone else will be. I don't know. So I'm kind of hoping like with Kamara, so there's enough other studs to draw attention away from him. Like even if he's wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, like he's a depth piece for me at this point. And if he turns into something great, so be it. Yeah,
the talent is there. And I guess it's not even 100% that Michael Thomas is going to even play this season. Like no one knows. He's such a mess. So honestly,
if Michael Thomas doesn't play, Olave could struggle as the number 1.
But, well, and that's just it, because it's hard to know how teams will play into him and Landry, and we could see him go off at the start of the year, and then as teams start to game plan for him, maybe we see him fall off in the second half, and Landry's just such a good possession guy.
Yep. Yeah.
So I want to mention here on the next pick, I know we had talked a little bit before the draft. I don't remember if we talked during the draft or not, but Sky Moore and then Christian Watson, I know for me, and I'm pretty sure for you as well, we're very close, kind of like that Jameson-Wilson situation. It worked out. You had 8 and 10, and Spiller went between, and you ended up getting both.
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting that. I was really surprised.
I was too.
My plan was to get one of these 2 guys and then go get George Pickens at either the 10 or 11, and then I can get a running back that I want. That was kind of my plan, but but it's at that point, it's kind of like I'm outside of that top tier players. And now it comes down to, these are 2 guys that I think I had them as like 3rd tier wide receivers to me. Like there was Burks, London, Wilson, JMO, Chris Olave kind of by himself with Pickens, and then it was Sky Moore and Watson. But I mean, with the landing spot and Tyreek leaving, like someone's got to be good. And so at that point, it's like I've already got like 3 better wide receivers in this draft. Like it's a dart throw. Like if he explodes, great. If not, at this point, I'm just looking for pure upside, and that's what they both are. Like Watson's pretty raw too. Like Sky Moore, I really like. Talented guy. Like really liked him. I had him higher than Watson pre-draft. Both got sweet spots, and it's just a matter of who. Like there's some guys Like it's Lazard for Green Bay and it's Hardman for the Chiefs. Like there's pre-existing guys, but it's just a matter of someone's got to do it. So,
but guys that can be overtaken, like they're not all-star
and that's just
players.
Yeah. And so I was expecting only to get one. I was really surprised to see Spiller go. I always thought I was a little bit higher on Spiller than some other guys.
I think Sandman just wanted a running back, honestly, and he was the top one. So
and I think that's probably right there. So it just meant all the better for me to be able to take Moore and Watson. So just kind of surprised me, threw a wrench in my plan because meant I couldn't get Pickens, but I really like Pickens. I just love the aggression. I just love it so much.
Yeah, I'm jealous. If I remember correctly, I was trying to trade up so that I could end up getting Watson somewhere in here, and then as soon as you picked him up, I was just like, I just even stopped trying to trade. I think I took back like all of my trade offers.
Withdraw everything.
I just withdrew everything because I was like, well, Watson's gone. Can I have Aaron Rodgers? So I was like, oh, I'd love to have Watson and see how that works out. And then as soon as he's taken, I just went through and just withdrew everything. So I was like, no point now.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish Sleeper did. I wish, like, if you're in the trade room and you try to trade for a pick, as soon as they drop somebody, it would automatically withdraw it for you. Because my fear is always like someone's going to take someone I don't like and then accept my trade after, and I'm like, no, I didn't want this guy.
That's not how I wanted that to go.
Like draft a kicker and then accept the trade really quick and just screw you over. Yeah, they should make that auto cancel. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. God, let's keep rolling there. I'll let you take there because my internet's being tricky, so I'll let you keep going.
All right. Well, so Sandman took Spiller, which is not a terrible landing spot. Working with Eckler there, I mean, he's going to be a better option than Justin Jackson. And who knows, in a few years, he could be the top guy. I don't know. How many years does Eckler have left on his contract? Because he's not that old, but I don't know how long he has on his contract. I can't remember.
I don't either.
But he could be the top guy.
Still, he's what, 26, 27?
He's 27. He's 27.
So he's got a few good years in him. Spiller's super young. In a few years, he could be the top guy for a few years. So,
Like he's what, 21, 22 right now?
Yeah, I think he's one of the younger ones. Like, let's see. 20. So, yeah,
he'll be 21 at season start, I think.
Yeah. So, by 23, 24, he could be the top guy in that offense for 3, 4, 5 years. So that's a really, really good landing spot for him.
Yeah, and he's a pretty complete running back. Like he does nothing super well, but he does a lot of things well.
And I feel like this is about the right spot for him to be drafted too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I didn't expect him to be drafted there, but I feel like that's probably where he should have been drafted. Either there or swap him and Watson there.
Mm-hmm.
So Eckler becomes an undrafted or an unrestricted free agent in 2024.
Okay, so he's contracted through age 30.
Yeah,
and so at 24, Spiller could take over. Like there's some good years left at 24, unless he just rips both knees out in the next couple of years, which honestly that happens.
But I mean, also, if they want to protect Eckler, knowing that offense is as good as they are, who's to say second half of the season they don't use Eckler and Spiller the same way the Broncos use Gordon and Javonte just to keep them both fresh for playoffs?
I could see a split like that. I mean, it makes sense. If you've got two guys like that, why not?
Especially with Eckler having a couple of injuries this last year.
Yep.
Yeah. Why not keep him healthy? I mean, that's what every backfield's going to that now, right? Like everybody's got a couple of guys that they swap back. I mean, the percentages are different on different teams, but everybody's got multiple running backs now that they're
outside of the Steelers, that's everyone's got a couple.
Yep.
Like
exactly.
Yeah, it's super frustrating for fantasy players, but it makes sense for real life.
Yep.
Totally. As long as you're not doing like the Ravens did and rotate on every single play, like you still got to leave people in for a whole series and let them get a bit of a rhythm.
A 2 running back rotation is one thing. A 3 or 4 running back rotation is completely different.
Yeah.
That's just,
That's
don't get me fired up, Kyle.
That's really frustrating for no reason.
Yeah.
All right, so the next pick was Watson. We kind of talked about him a little bit. It's a good spot for him in the draft, but also
like
good. I love that he landed in Green Bay. The problem is, he might get a quick start, but who's going to be there after Rodgers? So there's a little bit of risk there long term.
Yep.
But he's got some talent, so he could still be good with whoever comes after.
Yeah.
All right. So I know this next pick's really near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
Mr. Dameon Pierce.
Running back. It was this one was tough. Because I was expecting it wasn't. It got slightly easier because Spiller went at the 9. I was probably going to take Pickens and either Spiller or Pierce or a couple other guys at this spot. I wanted a running back at this spot more than anything, I think, just for, like I said, you can never have enough. I like Dameon Pierce. Didn't get a lot of college use, but from the tape I did see, he looked really good. Just a little bowling ball of a guy. Like, he's fast enough to get the edge. He just does a lot of things well, and people are like, oh, he didn't play enough in college. And I'm like, for the parts I saw, like, we see it with Georgia all the time in a committee, and like Florida wasn't exactly great either. And so the fact that he still looked good on a okay team, to me was pretty good. But the other one, I was looking at Algier here. I think I'm a little higher on Tyler Algier than some people are. I was debating about taking him here just because he's got a nice situation in Atlanta. There's a lot of young guys there, so who knows how every week I think it's going to be different guys showing up for fantasy. And even Zamir White's a guy I really like. I just couldn't, knowing he's probably not going to start until next year. I just figured might as well take a shot on someone that starts this year just for some depth. So to me, it either had to be Pierce or Algier, and I elected to go with my homer of Dameon Pierce because I don't know. I think Burkhead last year in Houston was a product of the coach wanting him there. For whatever reason, he wanted to keep using him, and he wasn't good, but he kept throwing him out there, which was beyond frustrating to watch. So I think that should change this year. Like, he serves a purpose, but I don't know. I think Pierce could learn a lot behind some of the guys there in Houston this year.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Algier because I'm super high on him too. And like after Rachaad White goes here in a minute, like I was trying to trade for all of those next 4 picks, and then Corey got it and got Algier. I was like, oh, I wanted it so bad. I was so pissed. I was just like nobody would reply to any of my offers or texts or whatever.
I think he actually offered. I think you tried to get my 2.1 as well.
Like the previous 3 guys were like, "Oh, sorry, I'm just like, screw you guys." Like,
screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah, me and Kyle were both working our way down the line. Next person. And then I luckily found it with Jason finally there. I was
I'm the league manager. I'm about to nuke this damn league. Screw y'all.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
We'll go ahead. We'll talk on Algier here in a minute when we get there. Let's continue down here. We'll talk on that in a second.
So next pick was that one guy took James Cook, running back for Buffalo. I know they're really high on him. A lot of people are, saying he could, like, he's kind of a smaller, but they think he could still be a feature back because he's kind of complete, kind of like another Michael Carter type. They could still add a big back next year, possibly, or whatever.
I mean, Eckler's a small guy.
I don't. Yeah, but Eckler runs hard.
Yeah, he does.
Like my biggest issue with James Cook, like the guy cuts like his brother. Like when he gets to the outside, he just embarrasses dudes in the second level. It is amazing to watch. But to run between the tackles, it's embarrassing. Like the guy hits the line and he either trips or like someone pokes him and he goes down. Like he just doesn't drive his legs well. I don't get it. For a guy that cuts as good as him, he should be really strong with his legs, and he just doesn't pump. I don't know what his deal is. He just doesn't pump his legs through the holes. He's got no wiggle between the tackles. I don't understand. He's frustrating. Like, he looks so good in open field, but he can't get there between the tackles, and it's unbelievable to watch.
It's weird. Maybe they'll toughen him up in camp.
Yeah, just no yards after contact with this guy, but you have to be able to touch him.
I was going to say, you're going to have to get contact on him is the thing.
And he's going to be a good PPR back. He's going to be really good. Like, he played out in the slot in college. I think the Bills could do that. But I actually saw someone post something, how I think Singletary was the fifth. He ran the fifth most routes as a running back last year. And I was like, ugh. Like, yeah, he wasn't targeted very much. And I'm like, ugh. Like, so even if James Cook takes over all those routes, it's like, if he's not getting looks, like if Allen's not looking there, it's kind of like, what's the point?
Well, it's possible he gets more looks than Singletary
He
did
could.
too. Singletary hasn't been super trustworthy over the course of his career there in Buffalo, so it's possible Cooks gets more. And I could see them like
change.
As I'll say, I could see him scheming more plays for him specifically, whereas with Singletary they just didn't bother.
I was gonna say, you scheme to your personnel, right? If you don't have a good receiving back there, you're not scheming to toss the ball to him for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so the next pick was our replacement team. We'll call them the replacements.
There you go.
Rachaad White. He was the top running back available there.
I like that pick though,
and he needed a running back for sure. Rachaad White landed in a really, really good spot as well. He's kind of almost a perfect Fournette replacement here in a couple of years. I know they just signed him to a 3-year contract, but it's possible after 2 years he gone. So and he'll probably be sharing carries already this year. So
yeah, I could see him like relieving Fournette a lot. My only worry with him is Fournette probably leaves with Brady. So what does that offense look like afterward? So that's a fear, but they have a good O-line. And that was my only thing with Rachaad White. His tape was great. He was a great runner, but he had the best O-line in college football. So it's kind of like, how much is him? How much is the O-line? But at the same time, like, you can't let him fall further than here because everything says he's good.
Yeah,
it's just how good, how much is him? We'll find out.
It's possible they replace Tom Brady in the draft next year, and then the team looks okay after Brady. But I don't know. I mean, that's
you mean Kyle Trask isn't going to be the replacement?
No, I really don't think so. Yeah. Maybe they'll wait till next year and then trade for Baker when his contract isn't $18 million for the year.
There you go.
Or I guess they wouldn't have to trade for him at that point, right? He'd just be free agent. So, all right. So the next pick, back to Sandman for Jahan Dotson. How do y'all feel about that one?
I mean, I'm not excited.
I would have preferred Pickens.
Yeah, I like Pickens better, not only because of the talent, but also because of the landing spot.
I mean, I remember looking at this though, and Dotson was the next available on the board, and so that's who he snagged. I think that's just probably a lack of knowledge at this point because he's probably been too busy to follow stuff too closely and make kind of a decision on his own. Not ragging on Sandman here. He's just a busy fella, and so.
Well, Dotson's got some talent. I just don't love the landing. I just don't love that landing spot for him.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Dotson's a weird one for me. I actually have Alec Pierce higher than him. I think just because of the landing spot of Indy. I like where Alec Pierce is going. Dotson's just weird. Something was weird watching his tape. He never was the first look, it seemed like. He was always the secondary look, which was odd because the guy below him was only a sophomore. And he looked pretty good. He wasn't quite as productive as Dotson, but he was always the primary look. And for me, it was kind of like, man, you weren't – to me, he didn't look like the true number one in Penn, even though he produced like the number one. To watch the game film, he didn't look like it. And it was odd. It's like, if you're not the number one in Penn, what are you supposed to do in the NFL? And so it's kind of odd. I mean, the kid that was getting the first looks, he looked good too. I'm really curious. He'll probably come out either next year or the year after. I don't have my notes in front of me. They're in Winnipeg, unfortunately, but can't think of the kid's name. But yeah, I would have just preferred Pickens or Pierce. Go running back here with Algier, Zamir. I think I have Jalen Tolbert. No, I have Jalen Tolbert just after him. So he deserves to be in the second round. I would prefer to trade back and grab another piece.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned Pierce because at the time of our draft, he went, you can see there in the third round. But since then, in these rookie camps and stuff, he's gained a lot of steam as he's been showing out and gaining confidence of the coaches and teammates and stuff already. So now, like if we did this draft today, he would be drafted much higher.
Yeah, agree.
But it's also an IDP league. So you see there, he went with the Lloyd linebacker from Jacksonville. I don't want to get into a ton of IDP detail here because I don't think we have that many people that play that watching our show.
I mean, Jacksonville defense will be on the field a lot.
But they will be on the field a lot, and there's a good chance that he can produce some good IDP numbers. So not a bad pick there.
I mean, honestly, that's who I was eyeballing. I had the 210 originally, and that's kind of what I was looking at. I didn't figure an IDP player would go that early, and that's who I was looking at there. So
I didn't either. The first IDP guy went a lot earlier than I anticipated.
But he has a ton of picks.
Yeah, he also had a lot of picks. Not as early of picks as James, but a lot of picks nonetheless.
Right.
All right. Then our league last placer got George Pickens to go with Breece Hall, which I don't like. I wish he hadn't been able to draft him, but I mean, that's a great pick right there. He got him several picks later than he probably should have been able to get him. So,
yeah.
And then Pickens is talented. Last year, everyone was saying he was one of the best in the class. And then
I still think it's hilarious to make Claypool announce the pick too.
Yeah. Oh,
that was the most savage thing they could have done. The Steelers, they're just like, oh, hey, here, we're drafting a receiver that's better than you. So why don't you go announce the pick? That's his punishment for being such a knucklehead earlier in the season.
Yeah. He's got to get off that TikTok train. He's embarrassing Canadians everywhere.
Yeah. All right. So then Corey was finally able to get a hold of somebody, which I wasn't able to do, and draft Algier.
And I can't remember what my actual trade was to get to that point. That's what I was trying to find, but I actually don't remember.
I don't either.
It wasn't with Tony. That came after the fact.
No, it was the Jason trade, wasn't it? Pretty sure you got it from Jason.
Well, that's what I was thinking, but oh yeah. It's just not showing on this trade here. So I was able to trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Trey Sermon, my 210 and my 310 for DeAndre Hopkins, Rondale Moore, and this pick, which ended up being Algier. So Algier, Hopkins, and Moore for CEH, Sermon, and my 210, 310.
I don't know. I think you have the wrong trade there. I think it was the one where you got the 209 and the 207. In exchange, you sent Sandman, Claypool, and your second round.
Oh, okay. Was that with Sandman?
Yeah, that was
okay. I was looking for one with bolts.
Yeah, no, I was looking at that too, but yeah, no, it was the one. If you go just a few up on the chat, I was looking for it too. So that was
perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, so that was
so it was Claypool and the 210 for the 27 and 29.
Oh, that's pretty good. I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So really two running backs for two wide receivers, Tolbert and Claypool for White and Algier.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like that a lot.
I love that trade, and then I like Algier a lot, and then they dropped Mike Davis, which makes me like him even more. So it's like, holy crap! I really, really like Algier there in Atlanta.
I do too, because even if it's a patience thing, I think I only have to be patient at max 1 year. And right now he's my number 4 running back behind Eckler, Kamara, and Elliott. So I can afford to be patient for a season. Then Elliott falls off his cliff, and I have Algier sitting there waiting to take over.
I really don't think it'll take that long for him. I mean, if he doesn't take over this year, they'll replace him next year.
No, so. I was saying worst case scenario, kind of thing.
I mean, it's how aggressive do they use him, right? Because if the Falcons look bad, maybe they want to give Ritter a lot more looks, so maybe they're doing more passing stuff, maybe not as much running stuff. So Algier may not be a feature piece. It's hard to know.
Yeah, it's tough, but I do like him, and I like him in that spot.
And I got him for a good price.
Yes. Yeah. Very good price.
Yeah, because I'm not a big Claypool guy.
No, I'm down on Claypool.
All right, so the next pick, McBride, the tight end for Arizona. Probably not going to see a lot of action this year, but in a couple years, I mean, they just re-signed Ertz. I think his was a 3-year deal also.
Yeah.
McBride's got some talent. Stick around a few years, he could end up, being the top guy there. So,
yep.
I don't hate that pick. That's definitely another patience pick, though. That's going to take a little while to pay off, but when it does,
that's how you find stud tight ends. That's how you just gotta
when it does, ones and hope. It'll hit hard for sure.
Yep.
All right, then Corey's other pick from that trade, Zamir White, who you've now traded to Tony.
Yep.
But yeah, tell us about that pick.
Yeah, so I was looking here. I really like White. But I also took him with the intention of catching Tony's attention, which is dirty, but I figured Tony would want him. I had just picked up Algier, and looking at my other options, I mean, I was kind of between him and Tolbert, but I knew that I needed to trade bait. You know me. I love trading. I wanted to trade bait, and I knew
half your draft picks in every draft are trade bait.
Yeah, so
I'm like, I need this guy for my team. That's my draft strategy.
And honestly, it was one of those like he's trade bait, but if for some reason it doesn't work out for that, then he's still a good pickup, right? And to me at this time, at this point, I did not have Kamara, who I listed earlier when I was listing Algier as my 4. At this point, I had Eckler, Zeke, CEH, and Algier. So I was like, well, I might as well take another dart throw on Zamir White because I don't like CEH. So I was already jumping either Algier or White over. Well, White not over because his situation's gonna have to be patient. But essentially, I knew it would be trade bait, and of course, Tony bit immediately.
Yeah,
like
I mean. Zamir White, where he landed, and then declining Josh Jacobs' 5th-year option is
perfect. Because that was like right before this.
Yeah, so there's some writing on the wall there for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's a good pick. Then we went to Jalen Tolbert, who I think has a really, really good chance to succeed this year with Gallup coming back off an injury, probably going to miss the first few games anyways. I think that's pretty much set in stone now. He's going to miss at least a few weeks.
Yep.
So I really
that's all he needs. He just needs a chance.
If he plays amazing
a few weeks,
for 3 weeks, if he plays awesome for 3 weeks, Gallup's going to come back to a number 3 role. I mean, that's just they're already really excited about him just through the rookie mini camps and stuff. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch for sure. But I like that pickup there a lot. Then we're rolling into Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep. I needed a D-line player, so for me, it kind of made sense to I had enough running backs and wide receivers I took there to take more dart throws. They're just going to be guys I'd either be trading or dropping. But Hutchinson, I like. Dude's just a violent player. I love it, and the fact that he gets to stay in Michigan, I think, is going to be huge. I was actually looking to get more picks in this round so I could double up and take Thibodeau as well. But no, I was happy to get Hutchinson. He was, I don't know, I just wanted a D lineman. I'm happy one fell to me. When I saw Lloyd go in the second, I got a little worried. Yeah. And part of me was like, okay, worst case, maybe Zamir falls or Tolbert falls, Pierce is still there. So had ideas, but Hutchinson was the guy I was targeting there. So I had offers. I think you actually, Kyle, tried to get this pick for me, and I was like, no, I have a plan for this pick for what I need it for, so I can't go trading it. But you got the pick right after me.
I was gonna say, I think we could go down the line, and if we had everyone that was participated in this draft on here right now, and they were going over their pick, they'd be like, I think Kyle was trying to trade for this pick. And
dude, from 2.4 on, I was trying to trade for the picks. I was trying to trade for Algier until he went, and then I was trying to trade for the guy I ended up drafting here, so I didn't need to trade because he fell anyways. But so I ended up drafting Bell right after the receiver that went to Cleveland. I just felt like, between his skill set, where he landed, the coaches are so high on him. Like, I felt like there was a ton of upside there. And I like Pierce, but I already have Pittman.
Yeah.
So to me, that was the tiebreaker to want Bell over Pierce. I'm pretty excited about, Bell there in Cleveland, especially if Watson doesn't get suspended. But I think there's potential there to be a pretty good player. Then team 3, I took Alec Pierce, of course. He was the top receiver available. Then we see our first quarterback, which I guess we talked about Alec Pierce a little bit. I won't skip him over. I won't gloss over real quick too fast here, but lot of head turning in Indy during rookie camps for Alec Pierce. I guess he's been crushing it.
Red zone target, right?
Yeah, so that's looking like a great value for that team to get for Swami's team now to get Pierce this late in the third round.
No doubt.
Yeah. And I mean, I think he can do everything Pittman can do. So to me, they're literally 1A, 1B. They're just almost carbon copies of each other. Like they're both big dudes. I think they're both over 6'3". So I mean, with Matty Ice going there, he can take his pick as to who it is. It's just a rookie version of what happened last year with Stafford. Is it going to be Cup? Is it going to be Woods this year? Is it going to be Pittman, or is it going to be Pierce? Likely Pittman because he has repertoire with the coach. But I mean, new QB, he's going to look for certain things.
Yeah, and they could alternate weeks. I mean, it's just going to be dangerous for opposing defenses, though. That's for sure.
Well, Matty Ice, I mean, he can make more than one wide receiver look good.
Yeah.
Vote for, in the same week. So I think that's fine.
But not every week.
Not every week.
Yeah.
Few weeks, though.
All right. So then we have our first QB. Pickett to Pittsburgh come off the board, which.
But I mean, look at how many picks one guy had here. Like, this is his.
Oh, yeah. He had a ton. So he's like, why not take the top QB?
Maybe.
3, 4.
Because he had 11 total in the draft, I think.
Yeah, this is his 5th pick.
Oh, 5th.
And he still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He still has 6 after this one.
Yeah.
And he has a back-to-back right here. He has 3 out of the next 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pickett, and then he took Thibodeau, which,
no,
the second best defensive lineman in the draft. So why not, right?
No, he has 4 out of the next 5. Sorry.
When you have when you have that many picks, like why not just take a chance on some of these guys? So those guys are good picks there. He didn't need a quarterback, but it makes sense, I guess, to stash one. And then Thibodeau, of course. Derryberry then takes Brian Robinson, the Washington running back, who worries me a little bit for value. But honestly, I really don't think he'll be that involved.
Yeah, the running backs get thin here.
Not a lot of standalone value there. Now, if there's an injury, Robinson's going to be pretty valuable. But there's not a lot.
I think he could be kind of like what Jordan Howard's done the last few years, where he's just a goal line dude. Just like he gets like 8 yards and 2 TDs in a weekend, maybe at best.
Fucking like Garrett Blunt style, just.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's fine. I think he is the next best running back available. So if you need a running back, it's him. But yeah, that's everyone
Well,
else
it's
after that.
him. Yeah, it's him, but it's close now. A lot of people you listen to are really high on Tyrion Davis-Price just because of where he landed. But I still think Robinson's the better option there. Then we move on to Hamilton, Baltimore DB. We'll actually see a few DBs here.
Yeah.
Up, just offensive talent running really low.
Yeah.
You know, so being an IDP league, why not take one of these top guys?
Might as well.
Yep.
Then Mechie goes. I was surprised Mechie lasted this long.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see some of these defenders, and
that's
I would
just it.
rather have Mechie than Robinson. Like,
I think the earliest he could have gone here would be like 3-4, like where Pickett went, like because all the other guys are a little bit better. Mechie's gonna be the slot guy in Houston. Nico Collins, they like him, and he's. I've been listening to how he's been doing in OTAs, and it sounds like they're really liking him, and he's really been progressing. He's staying later, and he's a constant. So yeah, Mechie's gonna be the third guy on a offense that's gonna be bottom half of the league. We already know
for a couple of years. Cook's
for a couple of years,
signed for 2 more years, so it's a great pick if you're patient enough for it.
Yeah,
because in a couple of years he could step up and really be a big part of that offense.
Yeah,
especially a couple more years of experience for Davis Mills, who I think has a pretty good future. He's not going to be. He's no Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, nothing like that, But he could be a David Carr or a Matt Ryan type fantasy QB maybe. So yeah, I feel like that was a good value on Mechie to get him this late. And what's funny is it's the same guy that took Mechie that took Pickett and Thibodeau earlier.
I was saying the same thing.
And I would have swapped it. But, hey, it worked out for him.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you got Stingley, DB for Houston, and Gardner. Sauce Gardner, DB to the Jets.
Yeah, this is his second draft. He went second to Stingley.
Yeah, which is a little surprising. I guess I don't know if people just expect Houston's defense to be on the field more than the Jets or what, but
that could be it. But they're both, I think, equally talented guys.
I mean, it makes sense they went back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nakobe Dean went to Philly, taken by the other Corey.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of upside there with Dean and Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good pick. I was surprised we didn't see more like linebackers go over.
Yeah,
there was more DBs, a couple of defensive linemen, but your points are scored by linebackers, and we didn't see that many of them get drafted here, which was a little surprising to me.
Yep, agree.
Then I was wanting a quarterback for the replacements, and you took Ritter right before I was to pick one for the.
But you called it, Kyle. You said that he would take Ritter.
Oh, I totally I was.
You called that round too. You were like, James will take Ritter in this draft.
Yeah, me and Corey were talking. I was like, man, I need to get him a QB in the next round because he was surprised I didn't take him instead of Pierce. And I was like, well, there's a few left and stuff. And then Pickett went, and I was like, crap. I said James is going to take Ritter too, and then you did. I was like.
And for me, it's to me taking one QB in every rookie draft is just good business. One of my home leagues right now, like granted the Watson situation's messed up, but I drafted both Tua and Justin Herbert a couple of years ago when I already had Watson. Just because at that rate, like look what Herbert's doing now. Because if Watson was still being his top 5 self, if he had just kept his towel on, like I could sell Herbert for almost any other position player I want as a 1-for-1 just to like make my team better because I can only start one in some of these leagues. So it's good business, I think, just to take a quarterback. Like I think I traded Tua and a couple other players to go bring in Darren Waller. but also I didn't like Tua, but I just drafted him, and with every intention of trading him right away because the hype was real. I didn't like him. Still not huge on him. But to me, Ritter was my favorite QB out of this one as far as fantasy ceiling.
Me too.
I think it's just good business just to take a dart throw on a quarterback, like of any position they can surprise you. So like no one expected Herbert to do what he did. I think he was the second quarterback I took, and I took him at the end of the third in that rookie draft. So yeah, that paid off already.
The problem is now with QBs, they've gotten so deep that unless you're trading away like a top 3 or 4 guy, like nobody's trading for QBs.
Yeah.
So it's
I agree.
So that gets
a
little disappointing because
Yeah, but now it's like because I had Watson with every intention, so like if Herbert has now become that upper echelon of QB, I could, if Watson was more constant, I could trade Herbert away. But that's the dart throw. Like Jalen Hurts is kind of looking like that. Like he might be really good, but
yeah,
I don't know.
It's tough. You really have to hit the lottery with them.
Yeah, Hurts is, I don't know what to think.
I mean, in the 4th round of a rookie draft, why not?
Yeah,
if you got the roster space.
Yeah.
So for the replacements, then I went with the next best QB available, Malik Willis. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start some games this year. But
yeah, I got that Burks Willis stack.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting situation to watch in Tennessee there for sure. Then our resident 11 pick guy, that one guy takes Chenal, I guess is how you pronounce that. Linebacker for Kansas City again, just stacking up depth.
Why not?
Yeah, just stacking up more and more depth. Then Derryberry, who just joined us in the chat, Mr.
Derryberry
grabs
takes
Ingram.
A crappy pick here. No, I'm just kidding.
I liked this pick a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, get off his nuts just because he's in the freaking chat, James.
I used to. Up until the Darrell Williams signing, I really liked this pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Darrell Williams signing kind of threw some water on it, but still a good pick. I mean, this late in the draft.
I was going to say halfway through the last round.
Yeah. And then he took Davis Price right after. So he took, the next 2 running backs available back to back there.
Yeah.
And we've talked about Davis Price a little bit tonight, just based on where he landed. There's a chance he gets some play this year. So
yeah. But like my only thing with the San Francisco backfield, I've seen tons of stuff, like people hyping up Davis Price, like, oh, look at who the starting running back's been the last 5 years. I'm like, yeah, but you look at who's there. Mostert, who's always broken. Jermichael Hasty, who cares? Like absolute nobodies, like Carlos Hyde in his 1500th season. And it's like, no, there's been no one of mention even worth drafting in any reasonable spot until Mitchell. Mitchell was so good last year, and I don't understand why people don't love him more. Like, which one of you did I trade him to? Kyle. I traded him to Kyle, and people are so down on him. I'm like trying to buy him again in a whole bunch of leagues. Like, it's absolutely nuts.
I was trying to trade for him. He just wanted the King's ransom for him.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, because I like him.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I had trade Sermon, so I was trying to trade to get Mitchell and pair him up. But now Jason has both of them. If I remember.
Yeah, I think what you run into is a lot of people don't realize that every running back that plays under Shanahan isn't going to be an instant stud. Like, he turns running backs that maybe aren't household names into stars, but not all of them. So I think people are getting a little carried away with Davis Price right now because he is like all over YouTube as a popular sleeper running back and stuff. And I'm just like, not so much.
And people forget, like, Mitchell was banged up end of the year. Like, he had like his wrist like bandaged up as if it was a cast in like the last few weeks of that season. And he was still getting 20 carries. Like, Shanahan didn't care. He's like, he's the best guy we have. run them into the ground. Like Hasty was there. Sermon was there. He didn't want to play them, and he won't want to play them again. Like, unless something changes, but like I don't see it. Like,
agree.
Yeah.
Next pick, Brisker, DB for Chicago. I mean, at this point, he's what, the fourth DB off the deal.
Looks
a lot
like
of DBs. I was surprised so many more DBs went than linebackers. Like, it's kind of odd. Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver for the Giants. He's going to be so deep on that depth chart. I mean, he's basically a Kadarius Toney clone too. So unless they end up trading Toney like they were rumored before the draft, he's probably not going to see. Maybe as a return guy, might see some playing time, but otherwise, probably not gonna see a whole lot. You're hoping Toney gets traded, drafting Wan'Dale Robinson.
Well, and Galladay will get hurt. Sterling Shepard, who knows? He'll probably get hurt too. So
probably
work his way
all of them will.
He'll work his way up the depth chart just like a San Francisco running back. Just injury, move up, injury, move up.
But this late in the draft, there's only two other guys I would say could push him out for Wan'Dale Robinson. Like for me, that's Khalil Shakir and then the flyer on Justin Ross, just because of how good Justin Ross was when he was healthy. Granted, he's got a lot to overcome, but I mean, he's in the Chiefs. Anything can happen.
Yep.
So,
but
those are the only two guys other than Wan'Dale I probably could have pushed him out, but I think he's fine right there.
Yeah. Let's see. So this pick was actually for the replacements. Jelani Woods, tight end, which I was just drafting an upside tight end, and then I realized, I got him and Pierce on the same team, but it's okay.
I'm shocked only two tight ends went in this draft.
Yes.
I am too. But it wasn't a great tight end class. There wasn't a lot of really good receiving tight ends in this one.
Yeah.
There was some talent, but not receiving tight ends.
I think there's more. I think it's better than people think. Like, if you think of last year, like there was Kyle Pitts and there was Pat Freiermuth. I think there's more like Pat Freiermuth-y type guys here. There's just no Kyle Pitts. There's no like Hawkins. There's no like absolute young stud. Like everyone's hoping McBride. I think like if McBride didn't have Ertz ahead of him, like he very well could do what Freiermuth did last year. And Jelani Woods, they love using tight ends in Indy, and the dude's massive. So like he's another Mo Alley Cox. Like it's just gross.
Yeah. And
like how big is Jelani Woods? He's huge, I'm pretty sure. Let's see here.
6'7", 253.
Yeah.
So
it's huge.
He's an NBA player.
Oh,
he's
so
gonna be
big.
Like he's 3-4 inches taller than every other tight end in the league. Like that's gonna be crazy.
He is bigger than Mo Alley Cox. That's gross.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is.
Oh, look at that. We got Mr. Sarcastic in the house.
Showing up at the buzzer here. We got our Mr. Irrelevant pick. I don't know how to pronounce if it's Cine, I'm guessing. I don't know. DB from Minnesota, another DB.
Yep.
More
DBs than expected. I would have expected more linebackers than DBs. That's very strange.
Yeah.
Well, even like there's several like receivers and stuff I went and picked up in free agency after this draft that I would have drafted over any of those DBs and stuff. I'm not a believer in DBs for IDP leagues, honestly. There's so many of them.
There's a ton. They all score about the same.
So I picked up like three other receivers after this draft that I was surprised kind of nobody took a shot on. But so yeah, that's maybe next year we'll add a round. I don't know.
I just got this message from Twitter. It's Leonard Fournette with the opposite of training camp calf photo, and it's just a picture of him just kind of all fat and flubby out there at training camp.
Does have like toothpicky little legs under him.
Because it's like, last year the big thing with Mike Davis and his calves, and I think there was one maybe even Saquon or something, same thing. Yeah. And then he's just
or AJ Dillon too with his quads,
yeah. And he's just out there kind of looking old and fat.
They used to do Eddie Lacy dirty like that too.
Well, Lacy got big.
He did, but the pictures they
eating
took
way too much cheese.
Well, it was weird though because the picture, like he was big, but the pictures that they published just made him look even worse.
Oh yeah, he looked, but
It
he
was just
gained a lot of weight.
it
Like,
was just like,
did
what
he
the hell?
gain like what 20 pounds or something like that? Like it was something crazy.
I don't remember exactly. I just remember the pictures they posted, and they're
Yeah,
like,
they were not
"What happened
flattering.
here?" And then you see him on TV, and you're like, "You don't look that fat." Like that picture's not flattering at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you see those pictures of AJ Dillon where he's got an Eddie Lacy for each quad.
No joke,
And you're
dude.
like, what the hell?
It's
You
ridiculous.
see him standing next to Aaron Jones, and you're like, dude, each leg is the size of Aaron Jones. Like,
Crazy.
that blew me away. But all right, so that was our rookie draft. It didn't differ a whole lot from the other dynasty that we're in, but you know, a few things. The IDP part was different, and then
Yeah, that switched things up quite a bit.
some guys moving around, but overall, like especially the first round was basically the same. So,
and there were some good trades in there. I feel like people were moving around a little bit during the draft.
Well, I freaking tried at least.
Yeah, there were a couple in there. It used to be even more crazy during the draft. It was a bit more tame than usual. So, but there was some.
There was enough talent. I think people just wanted to take their guys this time.
I agree. Yeah,
most of these picks that were traded in the startup draft last year.
Yep, exactly.
Because during the season there wasn't that many trades that involved picks. Most of these picks, especially mine and yours, I know for sure, were traded away during the startup draft so we could like maximize our value at the beginning. And then, of course, draft time comes. I'm like, damn it, I wish I had some picks. But
yeah, you get FOMO. You're like, oh, now I'm missing out on this.
I don't regret maximizing the startup draft. So
me either, because I won the championship.
Let's see here.
Just gonna throw that out there. So it worked out for me, and then I still got Algier in the draft, and you didn't. Dang, what a deal! I'm just being a good little brother right now. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. Let's see. How do I delete you from this league?
I bested you for the first time in a fantasy league ever, and so I'm just going to gonna ride that wave as long as I can.
It's the first league we've ever been in together that you won before I did.
Yes, that's true.
I've failed the fantasy football gods.
Technically, this.
You just went silent.
Yeah,
lost your audio. You went into full lip sync mode there, Millie Vanilli.
Oh yeah.
I hear you now.
It's actually I've won it twice in a row because I won it the last season that we had it before when we shut it down, and now
that was years ago, and it wasn't even the same group of guys. Like
I know, but I still have a medal from it, so screw you. And then we started it back up, and I won the startup season. So I'm taking.
You went and bought yourself a medal for it. That doesn't count.
Before the season started, just throwing that out there.
To what?
Before the season started, I bought it though. So. You know what? I'm hanging up this phone. This is bullshit.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna buy myself a medal. You're like the meme where the guy's on the podium, like biting it and doing champagne and shit. Yeah, you're like way down here.
Damn right. Damn right.
So. All right. Well, that's the draft. So I guess we can wrap this thing up. We've gone over our hour.
Cool.
But James, appreciate you being on here with us, my guy.
Oh, no problem. Always happy to show off.
Yeah, show off your half of the first round. Yeah. 6 of the top 11 picks.
And to be honest, like my season didn't even start with that. Like if people saw my team after the draft, like I had Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Zeke Elliott. Like my team was looking to compete. Just some other teams were having sick years, and I'm like, well, my guys, I had a small window and they're not doing it. Getting injuries. Yeah. I said, yard sale, like, let's start over. But that's part of it wasn't originally the plan, but became the plan.
it's taking your team to. I was looking the other day, and it was. I was like, before I feel like I had some good trade opportunity with you because you were kind of needing a couple spots and things. And now after the draft, I'm like, well, dang, he just reloaded his entire team. It's looking so good. He doesn't need anything from me anymore. It's like, dang it.
Yeah.
I don't have any trade leverage anymore. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, you are stuck with Calvin Ridley. Quit trying to trade him to me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't put him where you can just leave him on IR yet. Like
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do with this guy, but it's
yeah, because you don't want to just drop him because if he comes back next year, then that's a tough spot to be in. I'm glad you took him off my hands before all that took place. Appreciate you.
that was I couldn't believe it too. It was like a week or two before. I couldn't believe it.
It's 2 weeks. Yeah, it's like good Lord.
Yeah,
lucked out.
Yeah, that was unlucky.
Boy, God. But you still got Najee Harris out of the deal, so and you're looking pretty for the coming decade. So
that's just it. So all right.
All right, cool guys. Let's hang up the phone here and we'll holler at you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys.
See you.